Let's get one thing straight right now. Your friend count is not a high score. That number in your contacts, your follower list, the people you'd feel obligated to get a drink with, it's not a measure of your worth. In fact, if that number is low and you've always felt a little broken because of it, I'm about to flip your entire worldview. The truth is, a smaller social circle isn't a failure of your personality. It's a non negotiable requirement of a high performance brain. Society sold you a lie that more connections equal more success, more happiness. But for your specific kind of mind, that's like putting diesel in a rocket engine. It'll clunk, sputter, and eventually just shut down to protect itself. You're not antisocial. You're running a different operating system. And today, I'm handing you the manual. We're counting down the 7 brutal biological reasons why highly intelligent people have fewer friends. Number 7, the cognitive load tax, or your brain's bandwidth limit. Here's the relatable hit. You go to a party, a networking thing, even a family gathering, and you leave feeling not energized, but absolutely drained. It's a specific kind of tired, a mental fog, a low grade headache, an irritability that makes you want to sit in a dark room for 2 days. Meanwhile, someone else is buzzing, planning the next outing. What's wrong with you? Nothing. Here's the picture. Imagine your prefrontal cortex, the command center for complex thought, is a top tier graphics card. Every new person, every bit of casual small talk is a new, poorly optimized application window opening on your desktop. How's work? New window. Think it'll rain? New window. Did you see that show? Another window. Your brain, this precision hardware, is now desperately trying to render all this low stakes data while also running its main programs. Your actual thoughts, your internal problem solving, your analysis of the room itself. It hits its computational limit. The science here is cognitive load theory. Your working memory has a finite capacity. Intelligent processing, pattern recognition, connecting abstract ideas, running simulations, consumes massive chunks of that RAM. Social parsing, the constant work of reading facial cues, tone, subtext, and formulating appropriate responses consumes the rest. You have a high bandwidth system for deep data, not for managing a million browser tabs of pointless chatter. Stakes exceed this capacity regularly, and you don't just get tired, you get what I call a social hangover. Migraines, brain fog that ruins the next day's productivity, a visceral aversion to people that isn't misanthropy. It's your brain throwing a circuit breaker before it overheats. The payoff? Your brain is built for deep processing, not for running 50 browser tabs of how's the weather. It's not you, it's your specs. Number 6, the selective filter failure. Your BS detector is too sensitive. The relatable setup. You're in a conversation and you can feel your soul trying to exit your body. The topic is vapid, the logic is flawed, the statements are just empty. You're called a snob, told to lighten up. But it's not an attitude problem, it's a physical sensation. It's grating. Let's get vivid. Imagine every conversation has a signal to noise ratio. The signal is substance, insight, a novel idea, a genuine connection. The noise is everything else: platitudes, gossip, logical fallacies, emotional pandering. Your brain is a precision amplifier, engineered and tuned over decades to hunt for the signal. Most everyday social chatter isn't just low signal, it's pure, grating, static hiss. Listening to it isn't boring. It's the cognitive equivalent of chewing on aluminum foil. The simple science ties to general intelligence, often called the G factor. A core component is a low tolerance for inconsistent or incoherent information. The part of your brain called the anterior cingulate cortex is your error detection alarm. In a high intellect mind, this alarm is hypersensitive. It fires constantly when it hears illogic, cliches, or intellectual laziness. Each little fire is a microstress, a tiny shot of cortisol. The stakes are biological. Forced prolonged exposure to this noise creates a low-grade stress response. Your body doesn't know the difference between listening to Kevin from marketing talk about his fantasy football team and being in a mildly threatening but confusing environment. It just knows something is wrong, so it makes you avoid it. It's not choice, it's a defense mechanism. The darkly funny payoff? It's not that you hate people. You're just allergic to intellectual smallpox. Your immune system is rejecting the contagion of stupid.
All right, moving to number 5, the depth over breadth wiring.
This is the marathon mind in a sprint society. You know this one. You get into a conversation about a single idea, the ethics of AI, the physics of time, the plot of a film, and you can go for 3 hours. You dive down rabbit holes, explore tangents, and emerge feeling electrified. Meanwhile, the other person's eyes have glazed over after 10 minutes. You get labeled intense, too much, heady. Let's paint a different picture. Think of curiosity and intellectual engagement not as a collection, but as a mining operation. Most people are equipped with a belt of small hand drills. They can poke 100 little holes in the surface of various topics, collect a bunch of pretty shallow samples, and move on. You have one industrial grade mining rig. It's massive, it's powerful, and it's utterly useless for surface work. Its entire purpose is to drill one deep, dark, singular hole. It takes time to set up, it's loud, and it only pays off if you stay in that one spot, going deeper and deeper for a long, long time. The science behind this is your brain's default mode network. This is the circuit that lights up during introspection, deep thought, and self referential thinking. In minds built for depth, this network is dominant and stubborn. It takes a while to engage, and once it's running a deep process, interruptions are catastrophic. The stakes for your social life are direct. A wide circle of friends means constant, unpredictable interruptions. Text messages, invitations, obligations, each one is like someone throwing a rock into your drill shaft. It doesn't just bother you, it forces you to retract the entire drill, move it to a new location, and start the slow process of setting up again. You never get to the valuable ore. So you limit the people who have the right to throw rocks. The punchline here is a correction. You're not bad at parties. Parties are bad at letting you finish a thought that could actually matter. Number 4, the metabolic truth of thought. Thinking burns real calories. This one feels physical. You finish a long day of deep work, coding, writing, designing, solving complex problems, and the idea of going out or even having a long phone call feels physically impossible. It's not laziness, it's not depression, it's your body giving you a fuel readout. Here's the metaphor. Your brain is the engine of a Formula One car, not a sedan, not a truck, a precision racing engine. Doing deep, high intellect work is running that engine at 15,000 revolutions per minute for 8 hours straight. Now, at the end of that race, someone asks you to go socialize. That is the equivalent of asking that red-lined, piping hot, nearly seized engine to also power the stereo, the air conditioning, the headlights, and the windshield wipers for a fun drive. The engine will fail. It's not being difficult. It's out of gas. The simple, brutal science. Your brain, while only 2% of your body mass, consumes about 20% of your body's energy at rest. During intense cognitive effort, glucose metabolism in the prefrontal cortex can spike dramatically. You are literally, measurably burning through your primary cellular fuel at an elite athlete rate. The stakes are not intellectual, they are systemic. Socializing on an empty cerebral tank forces your body into a stress state. It pulls resources from other systems, digestion, immune function, tissue repair, to keep the lights on in the social processing centers. This is why you get sick after periods of intense mental work followed by forced socializing. Your body's defenses were cannibalized. Solitude, in this context, isn't hiding. It's a non-negotiable pit stop. You need to refuel, cool down, and change the tires. The payoff is a brutal reality check. Your brain just ran a marathon. Asking it to then go to karaoke isn't self-care, it's self-sabotage. You're not recharging, you're causing a mechanical failure. Halfway there. Number 3, the theory of mind exhaustion. Reading minds is a chore. The relatable setup is you being called socially awkward. You over-explain things, you miss obvious hints. Or the reverse happens. You see layers of meaning and potential conflict where everyone else says, it's fine. The problem isn't a deficit, it's an overage. Let's make it absurd. Imagine you're forced to watch a movie, but not from one seat. You're watching it simultaneously from the perspective of every single character in every scene. You're also seeing the director's intended shots, the screenwriter's hidden themes, the critic's review, and the focus group's feedback, all in real time in a single IMAX theater inside your skull. It's not a gift of insight, it's sensory and cognitive overload. The science term is theory of mind, your brain's ability to model the thoughts, intentions, and perspectives of others. In a highly intelligent, analytical mind, this system is hyperactive. It doesn't just model what one person might be thinking. It generates probabilistic trees of what they might be thinking, what they think you're thinking, what they want you to think they're thinking, and how all those branches intersect. It's a real-time, multivariable social physics simulation. The stakes are exhaustion and paralysis. Every simple social decision, should I send this text? What tone should I use here? Becomes a resource-intensive simulation. It's mentally draining in a way small talk could never be. Limiting your social circle is directly proportional to reducing the number of active simulations you have to run at any given time. You're not cutting people out, you're shutting down server racks to prevent a total meltdown. The funny, accurate payoff: you're not socially awkward. You're running a full psychological simulation for every person in the room, and the server is overheating. You need to reduce the user load. Number 2. The value of uninterrupted solitude. Your ideas need an incubator. Think about when your best ideas come: in the shower, on a long walk, lying in bed at 3 a.m. Always, always alone. Constant connection is the death of originality. Here's the vivid picture. An original thought, a novel connection, is not a light bulb moment. It's a delicate, slow chemical reaction. It requires specific conditions: the right temperature, the right pressure, the absence of contaminants. Your mind in solitude is that controlled, sterile laboratory. Now, a bustling, always-on social life, constant texts, DMs, calls, plans, is like trying to conduct that delicate chemistry experiment in the middle of a nightclub. People are bumping the table, spilling drinks into your beakers, flashing lights in your eyes. The reaction doesn't just fail, it explodes. The science here involves divergent thinking and the incubation period. Creativity isn't usually a forced, linear process. It requires the default mode network to wander, to make random connections between seemingly unrelated concepts stored in different parts of your brain. This incubation period is non-negotiable. It cannot happen amid interruptions. The stakes are the death of your unique output. Without protected, uninterrupted solitude, you never get past the surface. You only produce recycled thoughts, consensus opinions, and parroted ideas, the intellectual equivalent of fast food. You become a mere relay station for your social circle's groupthink, not an originator. The darkly poetic payoff line for this: one hits hard. Every text notification is a tiny funeral for a world-changing idea you are about to have. You're not ignoring people, you're guarding a pregnancy of thought. Finally, number 1, the evolutionary mismatch. You're a specialist in a generalist world. This is the root cause. The relatable feeling is that you don't fit. The modern world expects you to be everything: a deep thinker, a social butterfly, a networker, a charismatic leader, a relaxed friend. It feels impossible because it is. Let's go back in time with a metaphor. Your mind is not a Swiss Army knife. It's a deep-sea research submarine, a marvel of engineering built for one incredibly specific, intense, and valuable environment: the crushing darkness of the abyss, where it can find things no one else can. Now, modern society looks at this submarine and says, great, but can it also be a party yacht for weekend fun? Speedboat for quick errands? A ferry to carry lots of people? Demanding all that isn't ambitious. It's how you sink a $1 million masterpiece. The simple science is evolutionary psychology. High, analytical, abstract intelligence is a specialist trait. In our tribal past, the person who could think this way was the shaman, the strategist, the tool maker. They were supported by the tribe. Others handled more social tasks, gathering, and defense, which allowed the specialist to just think. That specialist brain was never meant to also be the primary social lubricant. Trying to force it creates a chronic biological mismatch, leading to HPA axis dysregulation. Your central stress response system gets stuck in the on position. The stakes are burnout, chronic fatigue, and a life that feels like you're always failing at some part of the human experience. The correct biological support system for a specialist brain is not 500 acquaintances. It's a small, trusted tribe that handles the wider social world and protects your depth. The final evolutionary roast that ends our countdown. Your brain wasn't designed for a networking event. It was designed to solve the event that ends the species. Stop asking it to also pass around mini kitches. So, let's recap the operating manual. A smaller social circle isn't a bug in your system, it's a critical feature. It's your brain's way of managing its cognitive bandwidth, protecting its deep drill focus, conserving its metabolic fuel, and running the complex simulations it's built for without crashing. It's the prerequisite for original thought and the antidote to evolutionary mismatch. If you saw yourself in these 7 points, understand this. You're not broken, you're not a misfit, and you don't need to fix your desire for smaller, deeper connections. You need to optimize for them. Protect your solitude like it's your job, because for your kind of mind, it is. And a quick but crucial disclaimer. These are observations about a cognitive style, often linked to high analytical intelligence. They are not a diagnosis. If you struggle with profound loneliness or mental health challenges, that is different, and talking to a professional is always the strongest move. If this manual for the high performance mind made sense, if it finally explained why you've always felt this way, then you're in the right place. Your brain needs the right information to run optimally, and that's what this channel is for. So do 3 things for me and for that brilliant, overloaded brain of yours. First, hit like. It tells the algorithm this operating manual needs to reach more people running the same rare software. Second, share this with one person who gets it, the one who always leaves the party early or who has 3-hour debates about space-time. And third, subscribe, because here at Clever Guy Explains, we don't do fluff, we don't do small talk, and we don't waste your bandwidth. We do your neurobiology. Subscribe, and let's get back to work.